Hi, Shabbat Shalom. Welcome, everyone. So, as people are coming in, we are about to start. And before I welcome our amazing, inspirational, dedicated speakers, there's going to be an activity for all of you. Ready? Okay. So, I would like you to think about the first time that you made a meaningful, important, giving decision to anyone. The very first time. It may have been a lemonade stand, $5 pay, for the Girl Scouts. It could have been $18 for supporting a group to go to a Jewish camp or buying, Girl Scouts cookies. But it could be a little more. It could be from $18 to $100, or from $100 to $1,000, or $1,000 to $10,000. Or just think about the most, the stretch, the first one that you said, ouch, it's starting to hurt my pocket, and I'm still going to do it. So think about that, and then I want you to share it with a person next to you that you don't know. So Tzadokim, you turn to the other side. All right, we're going to take 5 minutes, think about it, share it, and we may ask for some examples. Okay, so we will come back to asking stories and examples, but I hope you learned something new. So it is my pleasure to welcome together to the stage, and before I welcome a guest, I want to welcome the woman next to me. This is Miri Sheffer. For those who do not know, Miri is one of the strong co-founders of the IAC and serving at the national board as the chair of development committee, which means helping our organizations find the resources it needs to do the important impact we have. So she always, I call her the engine behind the system, and בעברית it sounds a little better, המנוע מאחורי נוע, and she's certainly pushing me forward. So wanted to say thank you, and you know all our panelists very, very well. So if you ever meet her and she stops you and asks you questions about giving, just come up with your story, okay? You'll need it. תודה, מירי.
Well, first of all, good morning and almost afternoon. So if you see me, if you don't want to donate, just go to the other side of the room. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Miri. Okay, we're going to start. I'm going to call our speakers one by one. I'm going to start actually with the gentleman, okay? So we start with Adam Milstein, an active philanthropist, real estate. Adam, you're welcome to start coming to our stage. Welcome, Adam Milstein. Adam is an active philanthropist, real estate investor, and community leader. He was born in Israel and served in the IDF during the 1973 Yom Kippur War. Adam graduated from the Technion in '78 and immigrated to the US with his family from USC and began a career in commercial real estate in Southern California. Today, Adam is a managing partner at Hager Pacific Properties, a private commercial real estate investment firm, and together with his wife, Gila Milstein, dedicates most of his time to active strategic philanthropy. Adam, you may have this. All right. The next gentleman I'm going to bring to stage, Nati, are you ready? Please help me welcome Nati Saidov. Nati is a philanthropist, business leader, and a longtime advocate of the Jewish and Israeli American community. He is the founder and principal owner of Capital Foresight, a closely held commercial real estate company. Nati serves on the board of the Israeli American Council, by the way, also Adam, and is a member of the American Jewish Committee Board of Governors, and he is also chairs of the Los Angeles Middle East Subcommittee. He's an executive board member of Stand With Us, and together with his wife Debbie, is deeply engaged in strategic philanthropy, supporting Israel advocacy and Jewish communal life. Thank you, Nati, for being with us. And our third speaker for today is someone that rarely needs to be presented or explain who she is, but we will find out more about the one and only Dr. Miriam Adelson. Okay, what a moment. So, some of you may think that we're going to be talking about money, but we aren't going to talk about money. We're going to talk about impact, we're going to talk about strategy, and we're going to learn together what philanthropy truly means and what's the difference between a donor to a philanthropist. And is there any difference? Is philanthropy emotional? Is it strategical, logical? How do you navigate through a world so busy with so many needs and so many good intentions? How do you make the right decisions? But no one is really born a philanthropist. We are born as babies. We don't know much. So I'd like to start from the very beginning, and I'm going to ask each one of you to tell us a little bit about your childhood, if I may. And specifically, where did you learn from who did you learn about giving? And we're going to start with you, Dr. Adelson.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah. I would say my parents. My father owned movie theaters in Haifa, and every premiere that he had, he did a premiere in the airbase close to Haifa. Before everybody could see the good movie, he gave it to the soldiers to see. My mother met a woman, Holocaust survivor, and she was very poor, so my mother created a job to her. She did nothing, but as if she was Ozeret, helping us, but she did nothing. So I saw more and more that my father and my mother helping people and don't talk about it, really. So this was the first thing that I saw in my life. Afterwards, I came to the States, and I saw the Jewish people in Boston, because I lived in the beginning in Boston when I met Sheldon. And I was surprised, because I thought the Jewish people that are giving money, you know the movie with Salah Shabati, that he was running from place to place. Oh, the community of Miami is coming, so he changed the plaque. And then the community from New Jersey is coming, he's changing the plaque. So that was my idea, remember? It was so funny. My idea of the Jewish people donating to Israel was something like this, the plaques. When I came and I lived in Boston, and I saw the dedication, it was not just money, it was much more. Hours of the life they would dedicate for Israel. And I said to myself, wow, it's much more than write a check. It's meeting and many hours together to decide about this or this. So the first time they came to us to donate. So what I learned in school, the donation in secret, it's the best. So I said, okay, we will donate, but anonymous. So we started to donate anonymous. Then, I think after 6 months, the head of the foundation, the Jewish Federation in Boston, Peri-Jensch, came to us, and I remember where we were sitting, and he said, "I want you to give your name." And I told him, no. The donation in secret is more accepted by God. He said it would help, if you give your name, it would help that other people would donate. So then we surrendered and we agreed. But you see many people that are donating, so the name would be, etc. But I tell you that the biggest donation that we are giving, it's birthright. And we have already given more than, and we have already given more than 550 million to them. And do you see our names on it? No. Gidi Mark wanted to build a building for them. I said no. I feel that I'm much more in the heart of the Jewish kids than to have my name. So I look, and especially now, when I turn 80, and 80, it's too early, but I'm preparing my will. So especially now, I'm just busy to give away my money. And it's a big work also to give away. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is my thing alive?
You're alive, Nati.
Alive?
So Nati, just reminding you the
I'm only
question.
half alive. The microphone is fully alive, so it's a good combo.
So Nati, we're going to back into your childhood, where you grew up. Where did you learn about giving?
I heard the question. By the way, Anonymous Shmananimous came to Los Angeles, and I had to stand on a stage. I almost swallowed the microphone. I didn't know how to do it. And they said, okay, we're going to raise money. People said, American people, you know, they're very secretive about what they do. They don't want this, they don't want that. I said, Anonymous Shmananimous. I want to know, I know my crowd, and there were a bunch of Israelis. They want to say that they give. If they don't say, they don't give. So we changed. You know, I knew that psychology, and people said, you know, it's not common. I said, I don't care what's common. I'm not for him. I'm from Israel. So let's do it the way that I understand my people will respond to it. And over the years, we set the standard in giving. And it was everybody wants to outdo somebody else, or somebody want to say something. If they don't say, they don't give. So Anonymous works for you. It works for David Hager. Are you here? You're not. You left your partner alone here?
He's praying at the synagogue at the moment, I'm sure.
I hope he prays for all of us. But with him it works. With other people, it doesn't work. Well, my childhood, I thought I was the poorest. I didn't know we were poor. We live in Rechush Natush, in an abandoned Arab house. My grandmother was the dueña of the house, and she was always worried that the neighbors are gonna al-shin alea, because she had one tenant that was paying her a few shekels, you know, and there was no shekels.
Grushim.
By the way, grush is Polish word. I never knew that. So a few grushim, so she was always afraid she's going to get kicked out. We lived in one room inside that old abandoned Arab house, and my mother, myself, and my dad. And I thought we grew up, we didn't know that we were poor because everybody else was poorer. And I didn't know that something like this existed or something worse, until Sheldon told us the story that there were a family of how many? 6? Family of 6 in one room with the dog, and then they had the drawer for the puppies, you know? It sounds like a Seinfeld when you had the Japanese come over, you open the drawer, and they took the Japanese. Where are your guests? Oh, I put them in the drawer, he pulled them out, except he had dogs. So, So at any rate, who I learned my giving, certainly not from my dad. My dad, everybody was talking about the father. The father of my Totchanim. My father was a paratrooper. My father, mefaked. I said, my father, well, I went home. I said, Father, what did you do? He said, I was a cook. You was a cook? Okay, good. My mother married my father in order not to go to the army. I had no altruism, not giving. I didn't have that. I was the average Israeli who is not a patriot. That's the house I grew in. But my true giving I learned from my grandma, the one who had the house that didn't belong to her, with no grushim. And she is my North Star. She was giving everything. She was a cleaning lady. That's all she was doing. But whatever she had, she gave to us. And I can go on and on. My grandmother, I always tell people, when people say, speak to your employees in the company with thousands of people, what do I tell them? I tell them about my grandmother, and they relate to it. And Sipurei Savta, I'm the original Sipurei Savta.
Thank you.
But ultimately, I came to America, I saw a picture of Debbie, my beautiful wife, right there. You have to crane your neck to see her. She looks like a little doll. And I met her. I met her the first time. I saw a picture she had on the wall of herself. She still looks the same. And her father, and Ben Gurion. So she was so proud of that. I said to myself, Amerikaim, ma? Frayerim. Tmuna עם Ben Gurion, how much did he give? That was a lot of money at the time. $50,000. משוגעים, הכבש, אנשים כל כך נאיבים. So I learned my giving from the Frayerim, Debbie, and when we started the IAC, I coined the phrase. What did I coin the phrase? I said, I aspire to be a friar. And it became our motto, right? You use it all the time. You give me the credit, and I appreciate it. So you can keep using it. And so I came a full circle because she tried to convert me into giving. She said, you come to a community, new community, what you do, you join a giving. I had nothing in my pocket, I was poorer than poor. I said, giving what? I said, join, and then you meet the best. And here I'm surrounded with the best in the world and the best in the country possibly. And you all around, you meet the people and you see them at their best. A. B, you get to meet people that otherwise you would never meet. And more importantly, it'll make you feel good. Well, it didn't make me feel good to give money that I didn't have, So, did not. Made me feel awful. I didn't have it, so I didn't have an experience. But she was able to indoctrinate our son. And I was a bad husband, didn't follow his wife's footsteps, but I followed our son's footsteps with the head of AIPAC when he went to school. And his life was threatened. I got involved, and I want to tell you something. The secret of life is giving. And we'll talk about it later because my time is only 2 minutes past, so go ahead.
Thank you, Nati. Always great to hear you. Adam.
Thank you, Nati. Nati is the best fundraiser that I've ever known. And he mixed everything with a personal story and humor. There's nobody better than Nati. Thank you, Nati. I'm going to speak about my personal philanthropy voyage, how we founded the IC. And the goal is really maybe to inspire other people into philanthropy, into activism, and into bigger involvement at the IC. Closer, okay. All right, so I was born in Israel, like Nati, and served in the army during the Yom Kippur War. After the army, I married my beautiful wife here, Gila, and I also went to the Technion, and also I took two girls and worked in construction, and when I finished all my projects in 1980, we decided to take a 2-year break and come here to the United States to obtain higher education. So we came here, I enrolled at USC, and 1983 I finished USC, and I told my wife, can we just stay 1 more year so I can get the tuition back? It was expensive. And she said, okay, 1 year is okay, but I want to go home, my family. And So I went into commercial real estate, worked in a broker, and within a few months I met my business partner for life, David Hager. We met in 1983, 43 years ago, and we became partners. He taught me many things. He's modern Orthodox, and the most important thing that he taught me is about philanthropy. I, like Nati, I had no idea about philanthropy. I felt the people that are giving money are friars, definitely not my line. But David told me something very simple. He said, you're not supposed, the Jewish studies tell you have to give 10% to tzedakah, to charity. But it really doesn't work this way. Whatever you give, whatever amount you give, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, God finds mysterious ways to give you 10 times more. If you gave... Now, it's easy to believe, but I wanted to see, we were business people, wanted to see the proof, right? But he was able to show me. He said, listen, yeah, we just gave 100,000 to charity, and tomorrow we got $1 million back from something else. He was able to demonstrate that it works, not necessarily 10 times more in money, but other benefits, and I became a philanthropist. And suddenly, with our success in real estate, I also became very involved in philanthropy. But I think the very critical moment in our philanthropy, Gila and my philanthropy, was in 2000 when the second Intifada started. And buses were bombed in Israel, cafeterias, pizzerias, event halls, and we were horrified. We were really feeling the pain of the Israelis, but what was more, I think, mortifying was that here in the media, the mainstream media, they were claiming that Israelis are to blame because we don't want peace. And that was absurd, and we felt we need to do something about it. And so we got involved with any organization that was doing pro-Israel advocacy. We started supporting Stand With Us, and we met Nati. We started supporting AIPAC, the Washington Institute, the Foundation for Defense of Democracy, and so many others. And every year we added more and more organizations that we got involved with. We felt we need to do the best we can. It's not enough just to stand on the street and demonstrate. If you have money, if you have means, you need to be active, you need to be a philanthropist. And in 2006, I hope you hear me, Governor Aaron Schwarzenegger of California and the mayor put together a rally for Israel in Wilshire Boulevard in Los Angeles. It was the first Lebanon war, and we wanted to show our support for Israel. So they made a rally, and unfortunately there were 5,000 people who came, and the Consul General of Israel, Udanoch, said to us, I wasn't there were no Israelis in the rally. He said, where are you? Where are the Israelis? So after the rally, he came to all of us, came to a few business people, and he said, guys, you need to help me create an Israeli community because we need you and there's nobody to call. And we didn't know exactly what we're doing. We had a bunch of people, each one had a different mission. My mission was to bring more Israelis to do what Gila and I was doing, to be active, to be philanthropic, to support other people. One person wanted to do a cigar club for men. Well, so we're all coming from different backgrounds, and everybody has a different interest, but we need to combine it in order to unite us. Another person wanted a business network to enhance his business. But we all went together, and we created the Israeli-American Council. And
now that deserves a big round of applause. None of us would be here without that decision.
In fact, at that time, it wasn't the Israeli-American Council, it was the Israeli Leadership Council. We felt at that time that we were Israelis, we were not American. That was our problem. We didn't understand that we are here not sitting on the luggage, we're here to stay, and we can have a role in the United States. So we were really able to form the ISC or the ILC in Los Angeles, but not to expand nationwide. Through our involvement in so many organizations, including Birthright, we were invited to the house of Sheldon, Zichrono Levracha, and Miriam Adelson every year for the major donors of Birthright event. And over there in 2010 and 2011, 2012, I told Sheldon about the IC and invited him to our gala, but it took time. You know, other people spoke to him. He wanted to come in 2012. He couldn't come, and then eventually they came in 2013. But what was so, I think, important in 2013 when they came is in 2012, I brought to the IC the idea that we need to change our name. We need to change our brand to Israeli American, because as Israelis, we have no role in America. Our kids feel that they're Americans, so they don't like that they're Israelis. Our neighbors think you're American. You live here, you have a business here, stop talking about Israelis. The Jewish community rejected us. The Jewish community got instruction from the state of Israel, send the Israelis back. We need them here, they have no role in America. A politician didn't want our money. I came to a politician and said, I want to give you a donation. I'm from Israel. He says, no, I can't take money from foreigners. I understood we're marginalizing ourselves by calling ourselves Israelis. So I convinced the board in 2012 to change our identity, to change our brand to Israeli American. And when
Adam gets the credit. I wanted to give it to you without or picking it up, and thank God you did. Adam is not only the Google of American philanthropy in the country, anybody and anything he knows, he also a great strategic mind. And he understood that we need to coin a phrase for the 13th tribe of Israel, which is the Israeli American. And Adam, without you, was so important that you insisted, and I rejected it. And you were right. Kol hakavod.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Adam?
Thank you, Nati. I just want to have one more minute, and then I'm giving the microphone back to you.
Thank you.
So Sheldon Zichrono Levacha and Miriam came in 2013 to our gala in Los Angeles. At that time, we were just in Los Angeles. And they have seen three things that just blew their mind. One thing was Israelis with suit and tie. They never seen anything. Sheldon said, they're always coming with shorts. The other thing, those Israelis stood up and gave money. We raised...
Adam, we need to wrap it up.
Yeah.
So sorry.
No, but I say why
Yes.
I want to show how Miriam and Sheldon got involved. And so the second thing is we raised $1 million and they were totally impressed. And the third thing, they understood we are American organization. We can change America from within. And they loved the idea and they gave us the green light, go expand nationwide. The Adelson way. I told Sheldon, I can only create one council a year. He says, no. The Adelson way. I want you to create 10 councils in a year. But we did it because we had their financial and support and connection to every city. They were so instrumental in allowing the IC to expand nationwide.
Thank you. I hope it's recorded. This is a great, how that IEC began. Very, very important. So back to philanthropy. And I asked everyone, where did you learn? Who taught you? And I learned it from this woman because the kissing and hugging.
I kiss everybody except for my wife.
So I went to my first IAC gala in Las Vegas 12 years ago, I think. And it was at your house, you're in Sheldon, and you stood up and you said, and I think that I hope I'm saying it correctly. She said, there are 3 things that I've never done in my life. Do you remember? I've never been to the Amazon River. Have you been there since? Amazon? Oh, okay, Kilimanjaro too. That was not back in that time. I've never jumped off a plane or parachute. And I never asked for money from anyone in my life or something like that. I've never asked money. And tonight, I'm going to do one of the 3. And she stood there. You stood there, a room full of people, and it's that ask in galas, where there's this awkward silence and every second feels like an hour. And she continued and said, you have no idea what it means to me and Sheldon to know that we are not alone in this, that we're not alone in this, that we can do it with other people. And I remember I just stood up, raised my hand, and gave at the time the largest and most meaningful gift that I could give at the time. And it was so much because you spoke so much to my heart. And thank you. And we talked about Freierim, but we haven't talked yet about Schnorrerim. And I think for those who don't know, the Yiddish word for asking for money, asking for tzedakah. And I figured, well, if we need to build all those communities, we need to be really good at being really good schnorrers. And I don't know if Sean Eben Chaim is in this room, because I learned also a lot from him, how to be a schnorrer. But I want to ask you, Miri, you give at first anonymously and then with your name there. And but how does it feel? And do you, when you decide, again, we talked about a world full of needs, especially the past few years, how do you make your decision, your philanthropic decision, when your heart is so big? And also your capacity is big, but how do you stay focused on what matters most to you? Oh, yeah, you have one.
So, science, we have a big a foundation for scientific research in new idea, because Sheldon was hearing how, when I worked at the Rockefeller University, and we asked some money from NIH that subsidized our research, we wrote, it was first of all 6-month panic in the clinic, and we wrote a book like this, and they would, when we give it to NIH, I'm not so sure they would read one page. But most of the time they would give our laboratory money, because my professor was very famous and he discovered so many things in addiction medicine. So we get about the preparation, and of course we had spies, so if some stranger is coming, we shouldn't tell them what we are doing, we wouldn't share information, because we are fighting for the same money. So Sheldon came with another idea. We will regroup people, for example, that are working on ovary cancer. He promised his sisters who died from ovary cancer that he would solve it. Then we picked, Sheldon had neuropathy, we picked all the big scientists in the world doing research on neuropathy. We had multiple myeloma, all the big scientists that are doing it, and so on and so on. We had a lot of neurological, for example, spinal cord injury. So lately our scientists succeeded to damage the spinal cord. And the mouse was paralyzed, couldn't move his hand. And all the time they put the food, so he will take the food with his left hand. Till and they injected some material, so it will grow again. And within few weeks, the mouse was taking with the right, because he was righty. So, and it was very famous. Sheldon came to the idea, I will take the group of the best from all over the world. By the way, I have 10 scientists from Israel, and I group them. One is in cancer research, one is here, one is... And I told them, you are my kamtat. So they looked at me, what is kamtat? I told him, ki mitzion tetzeh Torah. So...
From Zion,
yeah.
How do we translate that?
Ki
mitzion tetzeh
from
Torah.
Zion, the
Knowledge
knowledge would come.
The knowledge would come.
Torah will emanate out of Jerusalem.
Thank you, Nati.
So we we told them, you will have all the money. But you, the group, each group had a head. I have Nobel Prize laureate, Chekhanova, that is in the cancer group, and he's the head of the cancer group. I have Dennis Lehman, who found the HER2 receptor in the breast cancer, and he developed the Herceptin, which is a medication for, I think, 10% of the breast cancer. So we took him and we told him, Dennis, do the same thing in ovary. And all Dennis is giving, you will do the enzyme, you will do this, you will do this. Everybody has a job. They have the money, they don't need, they have to share with each other. And for example, the ovary, which I'm so proud of this group, they found out that ovary cancer starts in the fallopian tube. I mean, it's growing in the fallopian tube, and then few cells are falling to on the ovary, and they develop the cancer. So they looked back. There was a period that women didn't want more children, and they would tie the fallopian tube. There were some doctors that just cut the fallopian tube. And they found out that those who cut the fallopian tube didn't develop ovary cancer, but those who just tied it, yes, developed. And then the research continued, and they found out that it's growing in the fallopian tube for a year and a half. Then all this research has a big impact because, for example, women that are carrying the gene for ovarian cancer, it's called BRCA1 and BRCA2. And when they cut the fallopian tube, they didn't have cancer. Okay? So immediately they went into this. And Dennis Lehman, who found the HER2, he found antigen, the same thing, of ovary cancer. And now he's developing a medication against this antigen like he did in the Herceptin. So we are in ovary cancer, and ovary is considered orphan disease because the pharma don't invest a lot of money because not so many women are sick with it.
Yes.
So we hear it, but not so many. So it doesn't worth for them to invest money. So here come the philanthropy and finding solution.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So just to summarize, so what you're saying is that you are willing to help, but not so without competition, for collaborations. Mm-hmm. That the more companies, researchers, groups collaborate, and then the investment actually goes, the abundance mentality, the more people share the knowledge and collaborate, the greater the outcome in the project and for the Jewish people, probably.
It's very important, the sharing. And many scientists won't share because they want to advertise. I asked one Aaron Chekhanova, who won the Nobel Prize. I said, Aaron, how did you get to the Nobel Prize? He said, we were stuck for years. He was from the Technion, and his wife studied with me medicine, so we are very close. And he said, you know, we were stuck for years. Then we decided to go to the States to work with the other professors that got the Nobel. I don't remember his name, with him. And he's an enzymologist. And we found the answer, yeah. So the collaboration with somebody is helping. That's the reason we force them to collaborate. And they have a special site in the internet that each one is writing to the other the results. Yes. And they are not afraid that somebody would take the money. They have the money. Yes. So when Sheldon asked one of the scientists, would you come to my group? He said, no, my advances in the medical field is how many publications I have. So my smart Sheldon asked him, how many publication had Salk? They didn't know. How many publications had big names in medicine? They develop vaccination, etc.
Madame Curie.
They didn't know how many, because it's not important how many. It's important that you put an impact in science. So ours, I think now it's the 20 years at my charitable Adelson Medical Research Foundation, and always when I have to talk every 6 months, we all meet and we share the information. And I'm sitting there because I'm a physician, I hardly understand.
We hardly understood, but we learned a really good medical session today.
So now that I had my knee surgery, I sent Sivan. And Sivan is a physicist. So she was so happy. I said, Sivan, okay, you run it. I give you my crown and you run it afterwards.
That's wonderful.
It's 20 years. And each time when I talk to them, I talk about Israel, about the 7th of October. They are brainwashed with me. So now 20 years
They're
passed.
not the only one.
I'm going to do the next meeting in Israel.
Wow,
Yeah.
fantastic. Amazing.
Yeah. So they all love Israel. And I don't have many Jews.
You have pretty good influence on people, I hear.
Miri, you are Israel.
All right.
I love you, they love Israel.
So
I think I want to commend Noah for distilling one of the most important thing, and then Miri going with it. She said collaboration, and Miri picked it right up, and she really expounded on it by saying, you know, when you are actually proud of somebody else's achievement, you don't care about your achievement, you care about the goal, something happens. And that is great. For instance, Slayman, with the Hair to New, is incredible. He saved 10% of women in the world that have breast cancer. Was it UCLA? Oh, UCLA, yeah.
And he is candidate to get Nobel Prize for it.
Well,
yeah.
yes.
So now
And now he will get also for the ovary. Wow.
Amazing.
Yes. So Nati, if
So when you enable, yeah, go ahead,
so
sorry.
I'm asking the questions.
Oh,
Yeah,
wasn't the same
yeah.
question?
No. My next question, because we talked about impact and collaboration, and I'm coming to you too, Adam. You decided at some point, you used to write checks to all kinds of charities, and you and Gila have been very generous, and then you were seeing something, a trend, and you thought about moving your philanthropy journey into the next level. Tell us about that, but very short.
Okay, it's going to be difficult, but yeah, I think what Miri said is very inspiring, and it's incorporated into our philanthropy. It's collaboration, sharing, and impact. What we believe in is obviously when you get into the ISC, anything else, it's emotional, but it has to translate and transform into activism and philanthropy. In our model of philanthropy, we called it strategic venture philanthropy. What exactly does it mean, strategic venture philanthropy? What we mean is we are identifying our fronts. There is anti-Semitism, there is anti-Americanism. Where do we want to operate? You know, what Gila and Adam Milstein Foundation doing is really focusing on fighting anti-Semitism, fighting anti-Americanism, and supporting the state of Israel. We're not all over the place. And in order to do that, we identify the front, the enemies, and who in the Jewish nonprofit world can fight against it. And we identified close to 200 different organizations, from big ones like the APEC and the Stand With Us of the world, to the small one, and to medium one, and where we feel that nothing is there is gaps in what we're doing, then we went and we created organizations. In the last 15 years, we created many organizations that today are fighting anti-Semitism in the front. We're not associated, our name is not behind those organizations because it's not about the philanthropies, it's about the impact. So the focus is to promote and make those organizations independent, stand on their own way. Wherever there is a big organization that just did money, like APEC, support them. Most important organization in America today is APEC, control the Congress.
Excuse me? Most?
Well, you know, we are a community organization. The most important community organization in
Thank you.
America is the ISC. The most important political organization, we're not political, is APEC. So the big organization, we need to support them blindly. They know what they're doing. Medium organization, we need to promote collaboration, sharing of information, joint ventures. And the small organizations, we need to get them on the map or even start them. This is the model of strategic venture philanthropy.
Thank you. That was a great summary. I appreciate it. Nati and Debbie. So how do you approach philanthropy? Because Nati, you are a big mensch, right? We talked about, is it philanthropy logical, strategical? Is it emotional? What do you think and what does it mean to you?
First of all, a plug for Adam, Impact Forum. Look it up. Amazing. All that Google knowledge and strategic thinking put into one. What he did not say is that they support perimeter organization. You know, when you start a business, you're making a huge impact. Later on, I mean, if you have a business that started at $1, it could easily come to $100. $1 billion organization to be $2 billion is harder. Those little organizations have zero bureaucracy, and they're very, very impacting. That is what the heart of the impact form. No, this is on his time because I'm talking about him.
No, it's your time. It's going on your time.
So your question was?
Emotional, strategical for you. How do you make your decisions?
On a logical standpoint, and I'm writing a book about philanthropy.
Are you?
Yeah, that's why I got myself onto this panel.
I know.
I already almost finished the first chapter. It's going to have 3 or 4 pages.
The book or the chapter?
I think it's going to have only 1 chapter. It's a book, but the book is going to have only
the one chapter book.
And the name of that's right. And the name of the book is going to be Philanthropy. You can't give. You cannot give. That's the name of the book. Because, you know, I come to it from a scientific, logical standpoint, but it ties in to the religious viewpoint of the Jews. You know, and anytime you have a cross intersection, you know that you're right. And that is, we come here with nothing, we live with nothing, so we do not have ownership. We have no ownership. Think about it. So if you don't have ownership, if all your real estate holdings don't belong to you, sorry about that, you worked hard on it, but don't, and mine, and yours I don't want to touch because I don't want to, but it's too big for me to figure out. But if you don't have ownership of it, so what do you have in life? You have stewardship. We have achvana. You can direct money. If you have nature-given, God-given talent, and talent doesn't only say brains, you know, it's stick-to-itivity, it's bravery. There was nobody braver than Sheldon. He was so brave, and in your face, I was scared of him. I know you said, why be scared? I was scared of him because he knew everything about anything, and he had a huge bullshit radar. And I have a little bit of bullshit. I was afraid he was going to detect it. That's why I was afraid of him. It's true, you know. So I stayed away. I didn't want to ask him something I didn't know. So, so you cannot give something that does not belong to you. So you can achvana. Once you know that, 90% of everything in life falls into place. Because the money that God-given, nature-given, your hard work, and your hard work is also nature. Some people are just born lazy. You know, you can teach hard work, but some of it is inbred. All that translates to money. And the only thing left after you go is what? What do you have left with? Impact, legacy of what you have given. So the only thing that you have left is what you have given. And what you have given did not belong to you. It's just achvana. It's just stewardship. Once you see that and you learn that secret, you realize that when you, machvin, as soon as you give something to somebody else, you all of a sudden enlarge him. You give somebody credit for something they did, and nobody knows about it. You give, right? All of a sudden, Shleiman, all of a sudden, it's not about you. As soon as you know it's not about you, you rise. So that is the secret of giving. It doesn't cost me anything to donate her money, right? You know, my money is not mine, so might as well give it. And you have the good feeling and the fulfillment. I don't believe in happiness. Anybody believe in happiness? We have a doctor friend, he said, happy schmeppy. Fulfillment is where it's at. And as soon as, in a sum life, what's your sums your life? The number of positive impacts you made in others people's lives. And you do it individually, as Miri does. I know from other people that came, and she still doesn't tell what she does. She helps hundreds of people. You know, I can say it because it's a secret, but she didn't tell it to me. Somebody else told me, so I can share her secret. So yeah, all these things you still do besetter. All this impact you have done throughout your life, this is what sums up your life. And that is how we view that. And to answer your question more directly, you go to a source, you go to the source. Education is the source. That's why once you go into the campuses, and we got involved with the campus 25 years ago, once you influence the source, you know that those colleges go on and having the Obamas graduate from various schools. Although, sorry, I'm not being political. I am, I guess. But and if you deal with education, those people become writers and influencers and so on. That is the source. So anytime we give a donation, we give things that go to the core of the issue. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So we named this panel Philanthropy in the Duty of Israel. And it has been quite a hectic 2+ years for the Jewish people, and especially for the state of Israel and for America, as we are seeing October 8th happened also. And so I would like, in it's sort of a recap question for all of you, is that where do you, we have a group of people, and I actually want to ask, how many of you here, just raise your hands, are in the business of philanthropy, or professionals, fundraiser, or non-for-profit organizations that are in this room? Wonderful. And I would say that this year we had the largest non-for-profit shuk. More than 50 organizations came from Israel, from America, from just everybody is doing such an important job. And and this is something Adam once said, we cannot fight this alone. None of us can do this alone. We have to bring all the talents together. And so thank you for being here. And at the same time, there are a lot of needs. And so my question starts like that. And you're going to have to, if you had to finish the sentence. In today's world, knowing everything we know, true philanthropy in defense of Israel means, what does it mean to you?
I started many organizations before you asked me the question, so I have a lot. I have, for example, Maccabees Task Force, where we go to so far 100 universities, maybe I did grow up, and we take the activists, mainly non-Jews, those who say bad things about Israel, and we take them like Taglit to find out what is Israel about. And many of them coming back and they say, I was lied. So this is one of them. But so many organizations that are dealing with it, sometimes I think that the whole should unite and do the job together, first of all, they will save a lot of money of all the directors, etc. And secondly, would concentrate and give, like I'm giving to my group of scientists. Everybody is going to another direction, and it would be much more effective. But when the disaster happened, I sent to the kibbutzes their money, cash. I don't know what they did. Just one kibbutz asked my permission to do a kindergarten. With the money I sent them. The others, maybe Udi knows what did they do with the money. But I knew they need some money to take a taxi to survive in the beginning. So I sent them. What else? I cannot talk.
And what message do you have for people in this room that would like to become more givers? What do they need to think about?
First, to make a lot of money. I'm telling you that my husband, that today, Kafchet B'Tevet, is 5 years, is the Jewish, according to the Jewish calendar, is 5 years since he died. So today is, I brought candles to my suite, and today is the 15th, and I'm going to fly from here tonight and to do his memorial in Israel a few days later, because I'm waiting for all my kids to come together. Sheldon always said that it feels good to do good. Mm-hmm. He felt very good when he donated here, donated there, felt very good. So I started to feel good whenever. And then one day I decided I'm addicted to this feeling of doing good. It's like a drug. I'm giving here, I feel good. I'm giving there, I feel good.
I'll give you Macedon.
I'll
give you Macedon. What's the name of the drug?
Methadone.
Methadone. I'll give you the methadone.
And no, it's true. I felt addicted to this. I'm very happy when I help somebody. I'm trying to do my philanthropy to big institutes. I'm getting a lot of letters. I'm single mother. And I don't know if it's true. You know, people can write to me, I'm so miserable. I have 4 kids, no husband. How do I know? So sometimes when it touched me so much, I send my assistant, Udi Hamudi, that is talking when I'm talking. I send him to check, is it true? Because, you know, now there are so many lies in the internet. But mainly, you know, I'm Israeli and American. Exactly 40 years I spent in Israel, and when I was around 40, I went to the States to do postdoctorate at the Rockefeller University to learn addiction medicine. So 40 years I'm here and 40 years I'm there. So half, right? And
100%.
you guess how old I am. And I feel good to be American, though I grew up in Israel. I learned about the Holocaust, all the pain, and I felt that we are one family, that we need to protect each other. As they say, כל ישראל ערבים לזה. And that's my feeling. And I am in America, American, exactly like Israeli. And I feel good, I love America. And I don't like the mayor of New York.
Miri, it's not one-sided. I have a feeling he's not going to send you a love letter soon, either.
So, Adam,
Yeah.
What it means to you, to wrap it up, and
Okay. Thank you. I just want to
philanthropy
recognize
means-
my business partner, David Egger, just came
Right.
here.
David
He inspired me.
is back
David
from the
inspired
synagogue.
me into philanthropy.
Welcome,
and
David.
then Gila and Adam and Gila, we inspired so many people. So he inspired many, many people into philanthropy.
Through you.
Today, through me and through you.
Hey, he inspired me to donate to Netzach Yehuda.
Exactly.
The Haredim.
He is the inspiration.
Yeah.
So,
The Haredim who are serving in the IDF, because of this gentleman over there.
thank you, David.
Netzach Yehuda.
Thank you, David.
I can sum him up. He's a friar in chief.
Okay.
Excellent. I just want to say how we implement our strategic venture Philanthropy. Nati, I, and Isaac Philanthropists. We are convening network of philanthropists coming together, all pro-Israel, all philanthropists, all want to protect Israel and protect America. And we're convening a network of many, many non-profit organizations that if they work together in collaboration, in synergy, in force multiplication, they can do 10 times more. And then we connect the two different networks, the philanthropists and the organizations, to work together for bigger impact. Now we're doing it with people that we talk every day, and we're also convening dinners all over the United States, and we're presenting a Shark Tank of non-profit, effective, and great organization to the philanthropists, and we are basically inspiring active philanthropy, and that's our, I think, model for philanthropy.
Thank you so much, Adam and Gila and David.
To sum up, my way of thinking is that our direction of thinking is bottom line oriented, and you can sum it up like this. We want to do anything in our power to have the United States provide a green light to Israel to defend itself.
Thank you.
Secondarily, how many Israelis are here? How many of you know
Israeli American, Nati.
Israelis
From Israel.
Israelis
who live in Israel.
Israeli Americans, in English, the modifier is Israeli. The word itself is American. So we are American. But it means Israelis, I said, as Israelis.
So about 20% Israelis from Israel, and
how many of you knew that you belong to the greatest people that ever lived, especially the young generation? Do you know that? Raise your hand. You don't. So you tell the people in Israel, and you influencers and activists, otherwise you won't be here, that despite all of the strife in Israel, you are, especially the young generation, is unparalleled. Unless you learn to love yourself, how do you expect the rest of the world to love you and give you the green light to defend yourself? That is our message to you. Thanks.
Thank you, Nati. So, since you mentioned today is the Hebrew date of our beloved Sheldon Adelson, Zichrono Livracha, 5 years, I do want to quote him in a sentence that once I had the privilege interviewing Sheldon and Miri in their home. We were doing a movie for this summit. It was probably the second summit. And he said something that just I will never forget. He said like this, he said, because I asked something, what's inspire you, what's your legacy, what's important to you, we were sitting together, and he said like that, he said, there is nothing more noble than being the mason that mixes the cement that connects one Jewish generation to another. And when he said that, it made me think about my role and our role. And it goes to the credit and the ego and the names on the buildings, but it's the mason that actually mixes the cement. And I look at this room and I look at this summit with 4,000 people who came from all around the US, Israel, Canada, UK, Europe, that came together to mix the cement together so we can connect the Jewish generations to one another, we can connect each other so we can do more impact and more collaborations and save our people eventually, right? So As you walk around today, and all of us have to go to our next Jerusalem Society luncheon, I want you to think about your impact. And I definitely want you to think about the IEC, because this is that pot, that dli, the vehicle that we can mix this cement together. And it doesn't happen from nowhere. It doesn't happen, we don't get it from government money or city, it's just from people. People from each community that's saying, I want to keep that. I want to get this going. I want it for my children and for my grandchildren. So when you think about it, I definitely want you to think about the IEC. And I want us to think about other organizations that you represent so we can work together. And I want to thank our amazing, amazing panelists, inspirational philanthropists. Thank you so much.
Thank you.